Greetings everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bite-Sized History on History with Audrey D. In today's lesson, we are going to be looking at some more of Hindu as a religion. Now, Hinduism is a vast religion and has a number of different facets to it. So in my lessons, I'm only going to be able to cover so much information. So I do, again, encourage you to do some more research if you are curious. In today's lesson, we are going to be focusing on some of the Hindu holidays, as well as some of the places of worship and their temples. If you are enjoying these lessons so far, please make sure you are hitting that like and subscribe button. Also, find me on Instagram as History with Audrey D. And you can also support this channel further through my Etsy shop as well as my website. The links are in the description below as well as in the bio. Let's go ahead and get started on our lesson in Hinduism, its religious temples, places of worship, and some of its religious holidays and festivals. So first up, we are going to be discussing some of the places of worship as well as the temples that we find in Hindu tradition. Now, as we're going to see in this lesson, Hinduism doesn't just stick with temples as places of worship. There are many different styles of locations that people will go to worship in the faith of Hinduism. A Hindu temple is popularly known as Mandiram, Devalayam, or Devasthanam, meaning the shrine, abode, or place of God. For the people on earth, the Hindu temple serves as a sacred place or a place of pilgrimage and heaven on earth. Functionally, it brings gods and humans together and gives them an opportunity to help each other. Humans make offerings to gods and nourish them with food and devotional offerings of prayers, songs, etc., while the gods reciprocate by protecting them from diseases, misfortunes, and calamities, removing their difficulties, cleansing their sins, or helping them achieve the four aims of human life, namely Dharma, Artha, Karma, and Moksha. Vedic people did not build temples, nor did they worship images of gods in their abodes. They performed sacrifices and nourished gods through sacrificial ceremonies during which they might have used images to perform symbolic sacrifices. Although they did not practice idol worship or build temples, elements of Vedism, as well as Tantrism, can be found in the structure and configuration of present-day Hindu temples. The practice must have emerged later as more people outside the Vedic fold began practicing it and incorporated their own beliefs and practices into it. Hindu or Vedic places of worship in ancient India played a crucial role in connecting people to the divine and facilitating religious and spiritual experiences. Here's how these places served as a connection to the divine. Temples were and still are dedicated to specific deities and were considered the abode of the divine. Worshippers would visit temples to offer prayers, perform rituals, and make offerings to that deity. The inner sanctum of the temple, where the main idol or image of the deity resided, was believed to be especially sacred and served as a direct link to the divine presence. Fire altars, or yajnas, served integral part of Vedic worship. These rituals were performed at specially constructed fire altars. The fire was seen as a messenger to the gods, and offerings made into the sacred fire were believed to reach the divine realm. Riverbanks and sacred rivers also existed in India. Many sacred rivers in India, such as the Ganges, Yamuna, and Sarasvati, were believed to be divine manifestations. Bathing in these rivers and performing rituals on their banks was considered a way to purify one's soul and connect with the divine. Some of these practices can still be seen today in modern-day India. Certain natural features like mountains, caves, and forests were regarded as sacred and believed to be inhabited by deities or divine spirits. People would undertake pilgrimages to these places to seek spiritual experiences and connect with the divine in a natural setting. For ascetics and yogis, connecting with the divine often involved meditation and solitary practices in remote or secluded locations. These practices aimed to attain spiritual realization and direct communion with the divine through inner contemplation. Festivals, fairs, and gatherings served as occasions for the community to come together in celebration and worship. These events reinforced a sense of shared spirituality and provided opportunities for people to collectively connect with the divine. The recitation of sacred mantras and chants were a common practice in Vedic worship. These sounds were believed to have a profound spiritual power and could invoke the presence of deities or cosmic forces, facilitating a connection to the divine. And finally, the use of idols and images of deities allowed worshippers to focus their devotion and create a tangible representation of the divine. These idols were believed to be vessels through which devotees could establish a personal connection with the deity. In ancient India, the concept of dharma or righteous living was closely tied to religious practices, and the rituals and ceremonies conducted in these sacred places were seen as a way to align one's life with the divine order. These places of worship served as both physical and spiritual conduits for individuals and communities to connect with the divine and seek spiritual growth and enlightenment. We've looked over some of the places of worship that we see in Hinduism. Now it's time to look at how they celebrate. We see some holiday celebrations as well as some different types of festivals throughout the religion of Hinduism. Now this is an entire lifestyle, not just a religion. This is something that gets celebrated by Hindus throughout the country as well as throughout the world. Hinduism has a wide array of festivals and holidays throughout the year, each with its own significance and spiritual meaning. The first we're going to discuss is Diwali or Deepavali. Diwali is the festival of lights. It celebrates the triumph of light over darkness and good over evil. It marks the return of Lord Rama to Ayodhya and the victory of Lord Krishna over the demon Narakasura. Diwali symbolizes the inner light of knowledge, dispelling ignorance and the importance of leading a virtuous life. Holi is known as the festival of colors, and it signifies the arrival of spring. It commemorates the divine love between Lord Krishna and Radha. Holi encourages the shedding of inhibitions, reconciliation, and the celebration of unity and love among people. Next up, we have Navratri, or Durga Puja. Now, Navratri is a 9-night festival dedicated to the goddess Durga and her various forms. It celebrates the divine feminine and the triumph of Durga over the demon Mahishasura. Navratri emphasizes the power of devotion, self-discipline, and the removal of inner impurities to attain spiritual growth. Ganesh Chaturthi honors Lord Ganesha, the elephant-headed deity of wisdom and new beginnings. It marks his birth. This festival represents the importance of seeking Ganesha's blessings for success, wisdom, and the removal of obstacles. Raksha Bandhan celebrates the bond between brothers and sisters. Sisters tie a protective thread, or rakhi, on their brothers' wrists. It signifies the sacred bond of love and protection and the promise to stand by one another in times of need. Janmashtami highlights the divine play of Krishna and the pursuit of spiritual wisdom through devotion to the Supreme. Mahashivratri is a festival dedicated to Lord Shiva. Devotees observe fasting and night-long vigils, and it commemorates the day Shiva performed the cosmic dance. It signifies self-purification, meditation, and the realization of the inner divinity represented by Lord Shiva. And lastly, we have Pongal, or Makar Sankranti. Pongal marks the Tamil harvest festival. while Makar Sankranti celebrates the winter solstice. Both signify gratitude to nature. These festivals promote gratitude, sharing, and the recognition of the divine and the bounty of the earth. And these are just a few of the major holidays of Hinduism, and there are many more celebrated across India and among Hindu communities worldwide. Each festival holds deep spiritual significance and provides an opportunity for devotees to connect with the divine, reinforce values, and strengthen cultural traditions. That wraps it up for today's lesson on Hinduism, some of the places of worship within this religion, as well as the celebrations and some of the holidays and festivals that you'll find practiced by many Hindus around the world. If you are still curious, I do encourage you to research further to find out more about this religion, and also check out some of your local Hindu temples, as well as see if you can find some friends around the community that might practice Hinduism as well. If you enjoyed this lesson, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. You can also find me on Instagram as History with Audrey D. You can support this channel further through the links in my bio as well as the description below. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will see you in our next lesson.